Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you go check out our Discord channel for elevating traders, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat and also in the description below. You can't miss it. Join discussions, chat with other traders, share ideas. I share ideas there as well. And join the community as well. And of course, you can learn a little bit more about elevating trades of the firm as well. And you can find a discount code there for 50% off. So guys, make sure you go check it out if you haven't done so already. But welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. As always, we'll go through some USD markets first, discuss the dollar, what we can be expecting. Of course, we've got some big news events coming our way pretty shortly. In fact, I will go through some of them now. What's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Karis? Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are well. But yeah, the interest rates are tomorrow, I believe. But today we got CAD CPI, USD retail sales, all at 1:30 UK time. And that's about it for today. But of course, tomorrow's the big one. You got Bank of England, I'm pretty sure, in the morning. No, Bank of England's Thursday. You got CPI for Euro tomorrow. And then Fed interest rate for USD in the afternoon. And you got Bank of Japan. I missed that, actually. Bank of Japan interest rate decision, 3 a.m. And then you got Bank of England Thursday as well. So between Wednesday, Thursday, a lot of movement. Today, I think is a bit of a start things off for a bit of CAD and USD news. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Definitely something to keep a very close eye on, though. What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing well. So, as always, we'll start with the dollar. So, dollar's looking pretty bullish to me. It's looking like we're slowly clawing our way to the upside. I did say last week and over my weekly analysis on the weekend, if price does break through this zone here, which we did see a convincing break, I'm looking for a push back to the high there. So although dollar is still very much in an area which I'm still looking to short, still looking for more downside. However, I can definitely see that we have broken through structure and price looks like it's retesting that low or that high, sorry. So there could be some more upside for the week back to 107.6. That's currently what I'm looking at for the dollar. Of course, breaking retest. Lovely double bottom here a couple of weeks ago after NFP. Big wick to the downside, strong bullish close. Now we're seeing a pretty convincing break of that zone. So looks like we are getting a retest, which we saw kind of yesterday / early hours of today. And now it looks like we might be seeing the continuation of that back to the high at 107.6. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for the dollar. But like I said, longer term, I'm still bearish bias as long as we keep maintaining this zone here on the daily chart, weekly chart. Until we break through that, I'm not going to be bullish. Until we break through, I can't be bullish because this is still a big zone where we could definitely sell off from. So I'm kind of waiting for those sell opportunities if they do arise. We did have some bearish structure which was developing, but since that break to the upside, it has put that to bed very well. So from a more intra-week, intraday point of view, I do think we might see some bullish momentum, but I would keep a big kind of eye on the news because that could very much change quite quickly. But from a technical standpoint, I do think dollar can keep pushing. If you take this information into Euro USD, I do think price is probably going to do the opposite, of course. If dollar is going to push up, Euro most likely will push to the downside. I did say this is a nice support level, but because we have been quite corrective, it has made me less convincing that will hold, especially because of the break of structure on the dollar. Probably going to get the same with Euro. If that does happen, they're probably going to push back to the low here and see what happens there. But again, similar situation with Euro in terms of the higher time frames. I'm not looking to buy to sell this one just yet until we can very much break through that low. If we can break through that low convincingly, see a strong close in the weekly chart, of course, I'll be bearish. But at the moment in time, quite frankly, we're just consolidating really at the zone. And it's 50-50 whether the price is going to break or hold. Because of where we're trading and what we've done in the past, this is an area which I want to buy from. So I've already set that bias in stone. Now I'm just looking for opportunities that fit that bias, which, again, like I said, haven't really fit the mold yet of high quality. We still very much could bounce off this zone, but I need to see more aggressive momentum if I'm going to look to get into a buy. If not, we probably will break the lows and come back and retest this area. And maybe from here, we see some nice upside. So it very much depends on how price reacts. So far, not quite convinced that this area, next zone I'll be looking at will be that low there at 1.04. And then if you take a look at pound USD, I still like pound USD. It's one of the better USD pairs, which I'm liking at the moment. I'm actually really big fan of the double bottom down here. I'm still quite far away, but I like the double bottom because, again, really strong move to the downside. Not quite convinced that this zone is going to send us to the upside. Nice reaction. I do think we can probably break a little bit lower, back to 1.25, and probably from there we might see some really nice upside. So with pound USD, again, because of where we're situated, I'm looking for buying opportunities. Really big move to the downside for pound. We have seen a bit of a correction to the upside. Maybe price wants to continue. That could be the situation. But I'm still looking at these major higher lows, which are still printing. One over there, second over there, third over there, and potentially a fourth in that same area. So that's why I'm still very bullish and looking for that swing to the upside. But I might have to stay patient and wait for the double bottom at this point in time. Not quite convinced that 1.264, but I do like the opportunity. Dollar CAD seems to be very bullish. If dollar is going to push back to 107.6 on the dollar on the DXY, that's probably going to keep taking dollar CAD to the upside as well. And if that's the case, I wouldn't mind some retest of the high here. I've talked a lot about this consolidation as a nice base for a retest. But the more we push to the upside, less likely we're going to see a deep pullback to get there. And the more likely I'll start looking at a retest of the high here at 1.415. And that could be a really nice opportunity for a buy. And look to follow the trend because the trend is still very strong. We're comfortably above this zone here, which has led me to believe that, okay, price is probably going to push to 1.46 longer term now. So very, very bullish on dollar CAD here. And we could still see a lot more of that. So as long as the trend remains intact and we keep putting in these higher lows, I expect price to keep pushing. And my next area of interest will be the retest of the high there at 1.416. Still keep an eye on this zone here, of course. But if we keep the momentum up, especially if USD is strong this week, we could end the week pretty strong. But yeah, we'll be looking at the pullbacks, high lows somewhere, retest one of those zones, and a continuation to the upside. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one is still just overly bearish so far. Yeah, just overly bearish. I mean, we're still trading some big areas where do you think we can bounce, but I don't want to be jumping straight into this because the market's still bearish. USD still looks like it's pretty strong. So if that's the case, Aussie dollar is probably going to keep falling. It's going to take a very strong Aussie dollar if it's going to out-strengthen the DXY. And at the moment, not seeing any signs of that really. So until we start showing evidence of some double bottoms, break of structures, not really looking to get involved with Aussie dollar, but this is what I'm looking for. If not at 0.64, then I'll be looking at it down at the low there at 0.63. But because of the big move we've had, the fact that we're coming into some big areas of support, these are areas which I'm looking for price to turn around from, but just not seeing any evidence of that yet. I think if you're on an intraday basis, looking for shorts is not a bad idea, but you want to be keeping it short and sweet because the market's kind of short and sweet because the market's kind of had a really big sell to the downside. So you don't want to be too aggressive with the sells because it might just be a sell for the afternoon and then price snaps bullish against you. So might want to be looking at taking profits pretty quickly because we're already pretty overextended to the downside in the first place. But overall, I am looking at a bounce there for Aussie dollar. Same thing for New Zealand dollar. We've had such a big move to the downside. Price is still pretty overextended. I'm looking at things turning around for this one. We've broken through that low. Looks like we're trying to break through this low here as well. And if we do, we could probably see a push all the way back down to 0.55 as well, which is a pretty big move in itself. And we could see price bounce to the upside. So overall, New Zealand dollar, same situation, coming through some big levels, really overextended, looking for price to bounce to the upside. Just not seeing any evidence of that yet. I mean, my bias is pretty much the same with most of the USD markets, apart from dollar CAD, really. Looking for evidence to take those counter opportunities against that trend that we've seen for the past few weeks, but just no signs of that just yet. And the market does remain bearish. But overall, I'm looking at some buys. And then, of course, you got your lovely gold and silver, which has been pretty bearish this morning. Strong drop there. I still do like this area here as a nice place for a buy. Really strong level of support, 26.20. And an area I do think price can pick up some nice rejections from and see some upside. I'm not convinced about the bigger move. I mean, I'm still very much longer term a bull on gold, looking for the higher highs to be hit and see new all-time highs. But I would have really wanted price to give me some higher highs past this swing point rather than just come back and respect it and form that big double top there. More sign of a failure to continue rather than price actually continuing. Then I'm looking at the next higher low. So yeah, with gold, I do like 26.20 as a nice place for a buy, but it might be a bit shorter term. Maybe something like this, back into the high there. Call it a day and lock in some gains. Could still be a nice trade depending on how you enter. And then, of course, you got your lovely silver, which is looking pretty bearish as well. But we established that last week with that weekly candle closure. Big wick to the upside. Chances are we'll probably just fake the high there, respect that resistance. And there's a good chance we're probably going to sell to the downside. So although I've been speaking a lot about bullish opportunities on silver, taking it back to the high and a lot further, and I'm still looking for that. But maybe for the next 2-3 weeks, we probably do see a bit more downside before we do get that big buy. So I'm going to have to be a bit more patient with that. But yeah, with that rejection there from last week, I do think we continue to sell. I spoke yesterday about some selling opportunities on the retest of this level here, as that's kind of the only nice place to sell from, because this is pretty much a range here. So if you do want to get a decent short, you do want price to be back at resistance and the place where you can get a decent stop loss, and that would be this level here at 31.39. And then, yeah, sell back to the low of the range, and then we can go from there. But yeah, pretty bearish stuff from silver in the higher time frames. So I do think we might see that continue for the rest of the week, maybe for the rest of the month as well. And yeah, that kind of summarizes where I'm at with USD pairs. I'm still looking to go against that kind of movement we've seen with dollar strength. I'm still looking to go against it until I'm not looking to go against it forever, of course not. But until dollar makes a confident break past this high here, I won't be looking to take advantage of any USD buy opportunities. If we do see a strong break above this, then okay, that level's not holding anymore. Probably going to get a big breakout of this whole range here. And at that point, like I keep saying, there's a good chance we push to 113. And then I'll be looking for the pullbacks on the way up, trying to ride that momentum back to the high, similar to what dollar CAD's doing right now, actually. Dollar CAD's broken out some key resistance on the weekly chart. Looks like we've got a bit of a trend forming. And if we stay above this, there's a good chance we push back to that high. So for this one, I'm just looking at the pullbacks, trying to find some higher lows. So if dollar does the same, I'll be doing that on euro, pound, you name it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the USD markets as a whole. Yeah, I agree. See it's integrated. The bigger picture kind of is just ranging with the dollar, but we have seen a bit of momentum this morning, and that could push us to the upside for the rest of the week. But then again, you run into some big news events. It's not a regular week this week. If we didn't have interest rate decisions, I'd probably just say, yeah, there's a good chance we do see dollar just keep that strength up to 107.6. But hey, if things come out bearish for dollar, we could very much just sell off very aggressively and things can change. So I will take that for a pinch of salt. But in terms of the technicals, purely, I do favor more upside back to 107.6 now. Blessing, Euro, EJ, GJ, no problem. We'll definitely take a look at that for you. Intogwa. Hope you're doing well. Pullback for NASDAQ. Okay, we'll take a look at that as well for you. No problem. What's up, Will? Good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Ahmed, check dollar yen. Okay, I'll have a quick look at dollar yen for you as well. No problem. We'll go through some indices too whilst we're on the topic of dollar. But first, I'll go through Euro, UJ, euro yen and pound yen. So for Euro USD, as I spoke yesterday, looking for a bounce, still looking for buys, but this first level here hasn't been quite convincing. We have seen a bit of a bounce from last week, did take us to the upside a little bit. Looks like we're coming back for another retest. Potentially, it could be a nice time to be looking to buy euro if we do come back down, see some nice rejections on the lower chart. Could end up being a nice buy. If you're looking to sell, then I would wait for this level to clear first, and there could be some nice opportunities on some pullbacks below that. Because as I said with dollar, if dollar's going to see that push to the upside, retest continue, there's a good chance euro is going to do the opposite, of course. So staying in tune with both of those markets is always 90% of the time is a good idea. So if price does end up breaking through this zone, looking at some shorts for euro does make a lot of sense. And I would expect price to push back to that low there at 1.04. So I think shorts, because I know, Blessing, you do look at intraday opportunities. I think, I think the best thing to do is look to sell if we can break the low. If things do turn around, you probably don't want to take any entries on the hourly chart or below that anyway. This is definitely support. We could turn around, but I wouldn't be looking to try and scale into the lower time frames. I think if you are short bias and you are on the lower time frames, wait for support to break, and there could be some nice shorts below that to take it into the low. So that's what I would suggest from a lower time frame perspective. But overall, because of where we're trading, as I've said, this is still my bullish area. So I'm looking for buys, just not quite convinced yet with euro, as I am with the DXY as well. Okay, so we'll go through Euro, Yen, GJ, and then Dollar Yen, and we'll take a look at some of the indices. Hey, what's up, Ben? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well, my man. Yes, oil DAC, we'll take a look, no problem. Emmanuel, good morning, good morning. Ready for JPY strength, JPY is ready to sell. Yeah, it does look like we are seeing some strength for Yen. It's been a bit of a mixed bag for the Yen pairs over the past few weeks, but longer term, I'm still looking at a big drop for them. That's still been the case based on higher time frame price action. But yeah, we'll take a look at all the yen pairs momentarily. Let me just go through a few now. Then we'll go through some indices. In fact, let me go through the indices first, and then I'll go through the yen pairs altogether. So we'll start with NAS, and I'll take a look at oil as well. So with NAS, oh wow, look at that! This guy is just flying. I remember I was speaking a lot about this area last week, but yeah, the market's just been flying since that break. So yeah, I mean, at this point in time, probably not going to be looking at a retest of this zone anymore because the market is just way too bullish. I think the retest of the high looks really good. 21,200 looks like a really nice place for a buy. Yeah, will we see a pullback that far? Let me see what the Fib's saying. Potentially. With the current momentum, we might just see price correct and then just be on its way. Maybe a retest of this area that's the most likely, and then we be on our way. It depends what type of swing you're looking for and what type of trader you are. If you're looking to find positions you can hold for the next week plus, then you will be looking at bigger corrections back to 21,200, 21K. These are the areas you're kind of looking for that longer term swing, because if the trend does continue, it would take us a few days to get back to the high, and then if the trend does continue some more, probably can hold on to that position for a few extra days as well. So if you're looking for like a few days, a week plus, these are the areas you're looking for pullbacks into. If you're looking to take advantage of the current momentum and you just want to trade for the day or for a couple of days of the week on an intra-week basis, then you're probably looking at more so at these areas for price to come back and tap into this area, reject, and then try and ride that back to the high, and then take profits there or trail stops afterwards. Who knows how far we do run, but the real target will be back at the high, which could be done in a couple of days. So yeah, it depends what you're after. I think both look good. I mean, judging the current momentum, this looks like a great opportunity should price get there, and if we do have that bigger pullback, I think that still looks like a great opportunity as well. We're really starting to push away. So yeah, regardless, with NAS, buys look good. I wouldn't be looking to try and sell this one at all, not in these current climates. Yeah, indices across the board look very bullish to me, and NAS 100 is no different. So yeah, 21,800 zone, I would say buys look good, and then 21,200 Buys look good there as well. If we go to US 30, what's this one doing? Oh, look at that. US 30 still pushing down. So we're seeing NAS 100 still be very bullish. How's S&P doing? It was a little bit bullish yesterday, but overall kind of sideways. So we've got NAS 100 being very bullish. You got US 30 pushing down, then you got US 500 moving sideways. So it's like they're all doing different stages of the market, which is quite funny. But yeah, US 30 pretty bearish there. I was not expecting that. I was looking for a bounce at the zone. I would say the next area I would look at would be the retest of this high, which still is like a nice opportunity itself, coming back into a bit of a range here where we did consolidate. A lot of momentum came from that area, back to retest the high there as well. And we do have 0.786 in that zone. So I would say that looks like another nice area to look to get involved. Didn't really see momentum shift there, still remained in that channel. So until we kind of see that momentum step out of it, we might keep falling. But as long as we stay above this higher low here for US 30, I remain bullish on US 30. If we do take out that low, that's when I do think we'll get the break of structure and we'll probably see a bit more of a counter trend form, in which there'll probably be some nice selling opportunities, which we can discuss, but we'll wait for that to happen if it does happen. For now, this zone here has not held, so this becomes the next area of interest. 43,300. I do think this area looks like a nice place to buy. Of course, I would wait for confirmations there, not to jump straight in. And the beauty of it, if this area does hold, you're looking at a really nice risk to reward. You know, if you look to swing it back to the high, you're looking at some really nice opportunities to swing it there, maybe further as well if the trend does continue. But overall, very tightly knit bearish move here. I do think eventually we will push up. Nice area of confidence to see what price does at that level. And if it does break through that one as well and we break structure, then the buys were never there to begin with. At that point, we're going to be talking about some sells for a bit of a counter trend move. And then maybe we have a bigger move to the upside later on. Maybe come back to retest some highs here, maybe, and then push on. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with US 30. Then if I just touch on US 500, then I'll go to the DAX as well. So yeah, with the US 500 just consolidating right now. So that is very bullish. US 30 bearish, and then we've got S&P in the middle. So yeah, with this one, this is probably my least favorite. With the NAS, I can see clear-cut setups. With US 30, I can see clear-cut setups. This one, not so much. I wouldn't be looking for the retest of the high. The breakout's not big enough. I need price to really push on before I can look for a retest of the high there. There's no other critical level that we'll look at apart from the retest of this high, which is what we did last time very well. So I would say if he gets back there again, that would be a nice trade. Yeah, that would be a nice opportunity, but it's a very big pullback. I'm probably not going to look too much at that right now. I would say if price can give me a strong break of the high, could be some nice trades in the retest of that zone, or then potentially I might look for the retest of the high here. So something like that. And I can probably whip up the fib. Maybe the 50 can start testing it as well. Maybe the 200 will try and catch up as well. So don't really have a setup yet for S&P. It's very hypothetical. I need that to develop a little bit further before I do get involved and expect some upside. Yeah, bit of sideways now. Still overall bullish in the market. Still seeing consistent higher highs and higher lows. So I do expect us to continue. But I would wait to see if we can break the high, that consolidation with some momentum, some force, and then try and find some pullbacks, either on the retest of the high of the range or of that price swing high at 6K pretty much. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the indices. I'll take a look at the DAX in a second. Yeah, I agree, Ben. It's very unusual because they're all kind of doing something different. It's not like we've got S&P and NAS. Okay, they're bullish, but US 30 is just doing something weird. You know, they're literally all doing different things. S&P sideways, US 30 falling out the sky, and S&P and US 100 NAS looking very, very bullish. So it's a big contrast. You know, I've seen multiple occasions when the indices are not in line with each other, but very rarely do I see them very completely unaligned. So yeah, that is pretty interesting there. What is the DAX doing? Okay, the DAX, not much since we last spoke. Pretty much just a bit of sidewaysness in that area. But yeah, in terms of a healthy swing, I still think 19,600, 19,700 is like a great opportunity. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, um, yeah, that looks like a really nice trade. It literally lines up beautifully with the zero point 0.5. So I would suggest if we could see the DAX have that bigger pullback, retest this area, this would be a nice area for a swing trade. Again, if you're looking for the bigger trades in the market, these are the areas you're going to be looking for, because if it does play out, you're looking to hold that back to the high and potentially further for the next higher high. And that trade itself could take a week, maybe even two. Depends on speed and stuff. If the market's going to be flying that, then it could be less than a week. But sometimes it does take its time there, and it could be a really nice trade which you just hold on to, trail stops, and try and really take advantage of that. So yeah, the DAX for me, very bullish. I love the breakout, a lot of momentum there, left behind a really nice area. If I draw the 200, okay, move the 200 a bit above that, but nonetheless, still a lot of confidence in that area. We might not see that pullback anyway. Price might be still a bit too bullish. So maybe if you do consolidate, strong break at the high, there might be more of a retest here to take advantage of. That could be something we discuss a little bit more in detail, maybe next week after we see what the interest rates does and everything's settled. Actually, maybe not next week. Next week's Christmas. Maybe the week after that, potentially at that point. Yeah, unless we get that bigger pullback, you're looking at kind of a retest, that consolidation situation. But I'd only be bullish. I know some people will be looking to try and fade this and take some counter trend moves, but market's way too bullish for me to be talking about sells. I would only be looking for buys. And if I go take a look at oil, okay, so yeah, oil's not looking too great, I must admit. Pretty much just a range in this area here. Yeah, we've got the lows down here, which price hasn't gone and taken out just yet. I still think there's a good chance we do go and do that, and then maybe see a big reversal, and then we keep dropping potentially. Overall, if I drop to the 4-hour chart, overall for oil, I would say a nice opportunity would be if price can come back and retest the high there, because this is the low of the range. It's worked phenomenally well. Every time price has got there, we've seen really nice rejections, and equally so with the high, lovely rejections there too, minus that big fake out. I still think this is a nice place to short, 72.22. Nice place to look for some entries. And we do have that overall kind of wind in our sails, because we know overall the market has been pretty consistent with all these low highs, one over there, second, third, fourth. So potentially might see another one at the high of the range before another drop. It's nice to know that, okay, the direction, it does favor us there. So I still think the sells look good. It's pretty much range play at the end of the day. If we are trading a range market, we want to sell high and buy low, and that is definitely selling high there for me. This is still kind of in the middle of it, so I would try and stay away. Not that you can't find a good trade, but consistently it'll be hard to find good trades in those areas. But up here, it's much better off. So yeah, 72.22. I'd say some sales look good there for oil. Any plans for Xmas New Year? Not really, to be honest. Just the usual. Spending time with family, recharging. Yeah, nothing crazy this year. What about yourself, Ben? Oh yeah, favorite downside in oil. I'm in the same boat. Let me chop around for months. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I do think oil is slowly getting ready for a big bleed to the downside, but it's taking its time. I say that because all the lower highs there. It's like price keeps trying to rally, but every time it does so, it just puts low high and comes back down, puts low high and comes back down. So I do think we'll probably end up taking out this wick here. I think that's pretty likely we do take out that wick. Whether we take it out and then start flying afterwards or keep falling, that's difficult to say. We have to see what type of price action we get when it does happen. But I think there's still a high chance we do continue low to take out the wick there. So yeah, shorts look good. I'll look at the high of the range there. But besides from that, not the biggest fan of the price action all the sideways movement. Anyway, I'll go through some of the end pairs now. Some of you guys have been waiting patiently. I'll go through some of the end pairs. Yeah, so true. December has gone very quick. I remember it was just the 1st the other day. Now it's the 17th. What's going on there? It's like it was December 1st, like a couple days ago. Then boom, it's the 17th, and then it'll be Christmas. Then it's New Year's, and then it'll be 2026, and then it'll be 2030. Just goes so quickly. Anyway, let's get back to the market. Okay, so I'll go through some of the yen pairs. Blessing said Euro, JPY, Pound Yen, and Ahmed said UJ as well. So yeah, with Euro Yen, so we had a bit of a reaction this morning. We saw some yen strength creep back into the market, and we did get some nice bearish candle closures there. So with Euro Yen, we're in an area which, again, we could still form a lower high and see some downside. I'm not quite convinced with Euro Yen just yet. I mean, it's not really a yen pair which I'm looking at, to be honest, because we have come back from very strong support. So it's not one that I'm looking for the big sell, even though I think that is still the bigger move. But other markets have had some better pullbacks and look a little bit better. So with Euro Yen, it's not my favorite yen pair, but still an area which you could still form another lower high. We've got the lower highs here as well. Again, Blessing, I know you work on the lower time frames as well, so I would suggest that the better trade is probably still looking at longs if you're looking at intraday opportunities. I think if you're looking at some buys as we approach this area here, I think that's still a nice opportunity there on the hourly 30-minute chart as well. Trying to look for another reaction here, another high low, push to the upside. Got the 200 coming in there as well. You got a retest of that high, strong break to the upside, a lot of momentum. Price hasn't come back to retest it. I think that's still a nice buy opportunity there on the hourly or lower. Potentially a push back to the high. Like I said, I do think the bigger move is to the downside, so I don't expect it to go too far before we do topple out. But from an intraday point of view, I think the buys are still a best bet. If you're looking for the bigger swing trade, that's a different ball game. But I know you do like trading on the lower time frame, so I think the buys here make a lot of sense. Retest of 160. It's been a strong drop, nothing crazy, but I do think the market's still likely going to bounce to that area. There's a bit of a trend line here I've noticed. I think if we can breach through that trend line there, that will be the sign that, okay, we're probably going to see a big sell-off now. We've been pretty consistent, but we have been pretty corrective as well. So because we're corrective, I don't expect this price action to go forever. I do think we'll hit a top and soon get the drop. But for now, this is still a nice area of confluence here on the lower time frames around 160,500, and still an area where you can get a bounce. Of course, I would judge price as we get there. I wouldn't suggest jumping straight in, but if you see some nice rejection, I do think it's a decent area of confluence where the market could find some support. So intraday, I think buys still look like a decent bet there. But it does look like we're putting in a top. So yeah, as we do approach the high again, if we were to do that, I would recommend looking to lock in some gains because we could roll over. But if that trend line breaks, we're probably going to see a big drop there. Okay, between Xmas this year, but 24, 26 being... yeah, it does depend on the day as well. Like, I remember sometimes where Christmas is like on a Friday or Christmas on a weekend. That's always quite funny. If Christmas is like a Sunday, then you got Christmas Eve on a Saturday as well. Then it's kind of like a normal week, really, apart from Boxing Day the following Monday. But because Christmas is a Wednesday, it's very, very awkward. Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is kind of just right in the middle of things. So it just kind of makes things a bit awkward. But yeah, yeah, when Christmas is on a weekend, it's almost like a normal week, really. And of course, New Year's is on a weekend too. But yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. It's a bit awkward one Tuesday to Thursday, kind of messes up the week. A lot of people, I think, will probably take the week off. Maybe work Monday, work Friday, maybe, but I think a lot of people probably take the whole week off, to be honest. So yeah, might not see a lot of movement, but there is a lot of news this week. So I do think we'll probably still see a lot of movement for now till at least Friday. Then maybe we'll see volume start to die down from next week Monday. But that's definitely a good point though. Let me go to pound yen. So pound yen, this one was actually pretty bullish yesterday. We actually broke to the upside. We cleared the highs. I did say I was looking for some shorts in pound yen. If price did hold the high, but that did not happen at all. Price broke through the high there. And again, this is one that you probably would say you're looking for another higher low if you're on the lower time frames, because yes, we're in an area which again, we could still form a lower high and creep down. As I keep pointing out, all of these lower highs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5, still in an area where that could happen. But it really does depend what you're looking for in the market, because if I scale down to the hourly chart, it becomes a whole different situation. We're seeing successive higher lows. We're seeing some really nice, healthy bullish structure. You got the higher low down there, second, third, arguably fourth there as well. And there's some really nice areas here for some longs. Come back, retest some structure. Even the high we're testing right now looks like it's holding pretty well. And this could still be some nice opportunities to buy in the lower time frames. Because price is still pretty corrective, again, I wouldn't look to hit the home run with these opportunities. And because I'm still pretty bearish on the NPES as well, I do think, if you can get some nice buys down here, catch a swing back to the high there on an intraday level, you're still walking away with some decent trades there, some decent pips. So yeah, pound yen intraday, there's definitely bullish buys to be taken advantage of there. Higher time frames, I'm still looking at a big sell. Dropping to the daily chart as well, I'm still looking at a big sell with this one. Trading at massive highs here, where I do think price will topple over. And that is definitely the longer term move. But if you're looking at the intraday level, then I would say some buys for now look good until we at least start to break structure. So that would be my advice on GJ. I'll take a look at dollar yen next. Ahmed, look at gold, opportunity for intraday. Okay, let me go through the rest of the yen pairs and I'll take a look at gold for you, Ahmed. If you guys do want me to take a look at the lower time frames, because I know there's a range of traders on the stream. Some people look at the same time frames as me. Some people, of course, a lot more intraday. And if you want me to specifically look at the intraday time frame, let me know, because of course I'm going to look at the time frames I look at by default. But if you want some analysis on the lower time frames, let me know. But yeah, we'll take a look at UJ. So yeah, dollar yen as well, slowly looking like it's toppling out. It's technically kind of broken through my area yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do come back below. Yeah, it's in a nice area where price can turn around, but again, not quite seeing the evidence of that just yet. Yes, we've got a nice candle closure, the past 4-hour candle, but that candle closure doesn't dictate necessary price collapse into the downside. Need a little bit more than that. What I can say is though that again we're still a little bit corrective here, so the market's a little bit tired. It's not like we've steamrolled to the upside and we're seeing aggressive momentum. It's still a little bit corrective, so that does give me the expectation we could still drop. But yeah, because it's above my zone, I need price to start breaking back below before I start considering too short. If we're going to stay above and keep forming higher lows and keep pushing, then maybe we're just going to get pushed back to the high. Yeah, push back to the high, which is at 156.5. And if we see a new high, then I'm afraid I'm going to have to scrap that bearish bias completely and probably become a bull in dollar yen and look for the push back to the high. Because if we take up this high here, that point, we've actually got bullish structure here on the daily chart, which I definitely can ignore. And I will be looking at higher lows to take this guy to the upside. So yeah, it's a very kind of close situation here. If we are going to get that big sell at the moment, not quite convinced right now for dollar yen. So I'm definitely kind of backing off from the shorts here, I must say. You can even see that retest there on the daily chart of 200. Not a good sign if you do have a long-term bearish bias as well. Kind of want price to be breaking through that and holding as resistance. So that's obviously not a great sign from a seller's perspective. So yeah, I would say I'm still looking at shorts because it's still in that area, but I need to start breaking below, start giving some double tops before I do get into any shorts. If anything, if we keep pushing, like I said, I will think about shifting that bias completely. Um, Definitely if we do take up that high. But yeah, dollar yen still in bearish area, still looking to sell, not quite there yet. And from an intraday level, we're still slowly climbing to the upside, but I would say euro yen or pound yen looks a lot better to buy if you're looking for those opportunities to buy the dips down on the hourly chart. There's a lot of higher lows here, but they're a bit more shallow, a bit more difficult to catch. Maybe you want to drop even lower than the hourly chart, try and look to trade that. But euro yen and pound yen have some really nice swings to them. So I think those look a lot better in terms of the buys. Yeah, pound yen's having a good time respecting that high there as well. So yeah, I'll watch out for that. In terms of some of the other yen pairs, so if you go over to the one I'm currently trading, which is CAD yen, that one has seen some upsides as well, but again, it's still very corrective. So I'm not looking to plug the trade and close it early. If we do become impulsive, I may look to do that, but I probably will give myself just the room. My stop loss is trailed there, which is my kind of safety measure. And being very loose with that stop loss. If I was probably managing the trade how I normally would with a trading stop, I would already be out the trade because it would already be above the high here, and this move would have taken me out the trade. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, but you can see we're still moving to the upside very correctively. Looks like that 200 moving averages held its own there as well. Had a bit of a reaction from that, but again, dropping to the intraday time frames, I do think some intraday buys do make a lot of sense. Retesting that range there could be a nice high-low formation. Not the trade I'm looking for, of course not, but could still be an opportunity down the low time frames. I still like this level here, the retest, the 109,300. Really nice place for a short as well. Should we keep staying corrective and push up there? I think that could be a nice sell there. But we'll see how everything unfolds. I haven't really seen the big break of structure yet with these yen pairs, so going to stay patient and see how that unfolds. But if you're looking to get involved with CAD yen, I think 109.5 looks good. If you're looking to long, then coming back into that range down the lower time frames, the hourly chart still looks like a nice opportunity. Retest that high low, and then on we go. But yeah, we'll see how that happens. As I've said, I've already booked profits with this one, so it's very much just kind of let the price do its thing. The idea is that I'm trying to maximize my winners and minimize my losers. And that means leaving a bit of money on the table, letting the market does its thing. If we are going to continue that momentum from July/August and see that drop continue, I do expect us to put that lower high in somewhere and continue and take advantage of that. If we are going to reverse, then price is going to reverse. Maybe I do close out early, maybe I don't. It really depends on how things look. But yeah, that's the situation with CAD yen. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys, again, bit of a move to the downside, still really corrective, but I'm not thinking, shorts look good here. Excuse me. As I've said multiple times, the retest of the range is really where it's at. If price can get back up there again, I think that's a nice place for a short. Back at 99.535 would be a really nice place to take some downside there for Aussie yen. We do look pretty corrective, and maybe price does see some downside from here, but no kind of clear area to short from. So I would wait for price to push up a little bit higher and retest that. In fact, if we were to get there, I'll be very interested about taking some shorts because I know it's retesting a solid level. Makes a lot of sense on the daily chart. You can see the momentum on the breakout there. It would be nice to catch a retest of that consolidation. And of course, another reason why I like the trade is the risk reward makes a lot of sense. If this trade does perform and we do see the continuation back to the lows here, you're looking at a very nice risk reward and something that can go very, very far, especially with a trading stop loss system. Never know. Maybe we do get some big momentum like this, stepping to the market, and you could be onto a massive, massive winner. So that's one of the positive points about trading the yen pairs to the downside, is if you catch the right short with no take profit, it could be a lovely, lovely trade. But yeah, we'll wait to see how that does unfold, but that's definitely what I'm looking for. In terms of New Zealand yen, yeah, same situation with this guy as well. I like the retest of this low here. You've got a really nice range in the market. So those are your lows. These are your highs, equal highs. And of course, that's the retest you're looking for. So it would be nice if you get something like that, retest, continuation. And then, yeah, looking for a push all the way back to the low here. And again, risk reward makes a load of sense. Get a nice short there. Entries in that area. Stops above the high. Looking for a push into that low, but more so this low here as well. Yeah, so something like that looks really good. You can see it says 1 to 12 there. Probably not 1 to 12 by the time you get the entry, but more or less something like that could shape up. So I like the end pairs, a lot of opportunity to the downside. I must admit, on the lower time frames, there are some nice buying opportunities on the hourly and below, because we have seen some corrective moves up, which has been, formed some nice pullbacks on the hourly chart. So I think the buys still look good there, especially with euro yen and pound yen. But I'm still very much bearish on the higher time frame, so that's where my bias is. But a nice buy setup there on the hourly does look good there for euro yen. So if you are looking at those time frames, that's kind of the situation I'll be looking at. Yes, Bank of Japan on Thursday. I completely forgot about that as well. I just reminded myself this morning, because I was focusing on Bank of England, which is the same day, about 12. Completely forgot about the Bank of Japan. And of course, we've got the Fed tomorrow afternoon as well. So yeah, a bunch of news this week. A bunch of news. Sometimes we do a surprise hike. Damn, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting if they do that. Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of the end pairs. They can really move. They can really, really move. Yeah, which is why, especially to the downside as well, which is why I do like them, because if you catch them right, it could be a lovely trade. And same thing if it goes wrong as well. If you're not managing your risk, it can be a very ugly trade too. So it goes both ways. But yeah, with euro yen, looking at some short-term upside, quite a few of them look the same way, but I am still looking for the short opportunity. I was looking a lot at CHF-JPY as well. Got a very strong reaction this morning. But yeah, not quite looking good enough for me to take the entry. It was a nice reaction at the high and a really strong drop this morning, but not enough for me to take the trade. So I'm still going to keep an eye on it, but I have to say I'm becoming less confident with the shorts here with the yen pairs as time does develop, and maybe we might get a bigger pullback with them. And because I still do have the yen trade on CAD yen as well, I don't need to necessarily force anything. If the yen pairs are still going to drop, I'll still take advantage of the move on CAD yen. But some of the opportunities we're seeing across the board with how they're moving, not looking the best, I must admit, especially pound yen as well. This was a yen pair I was looking to short yesterday, along with pound yen, Swiss yen, sorry. I was going to see which one gives me the better price action. But yeah, pound yen was just very, very bullish and broke to the upside very convincingly as well. It looks like it's having a decent retest of that level there too. So yeah, overall with pound yen and the other yen pairs as well, looks like we are seeing a bit of weakness. If I take a look at the Japanese index, how is that looking? So this one's trying to push up. I mean, overall is pretty much consolidation, to be honest. Equal highs there, equal lows there. Could sell off, to be honest. If it's going to reject the high again, it could actually sell off. How's the JP basket doing? Okay, so it did have a reaction at that level. Okay, that's probably what gave us the reaction then. Coming back into that zone, reacted pretty well. but is it going to keep selling off, or is it going to break through? That's the question. If it does end up breaking through like that, then yeah, we're probably are going to see the yen pairs keep being bullish. If we do respect this, maybe a nice double top does form, could be a decent short back down again. But this is a very pivotal area because I feel like if it does break, then yeah, the yen pairs are probably going to keep pushing up. So I'm going to have to keep a close eye on the yen basket. Don't normally do that, to be honest, but I think it's a very important area. And if I do see some convincing rejection here, I'll probably look to try and get involved on a yen pair. If it starts breaking through 6,400, which is this level, then I think it's a matter of time before we do head back down to that low there. And I have to be very, very careful jumping into any new yen positions as well. But yeah, it's an interesting area because if I do expect the upside, then it's either going to happen at this level or it's going to double bottom here. One of those two areas. If it breaks through this zone, then I do expect us to keep falling back down to that low. And then I'll see what we can do here. And if we break through that, and then just like I said with dollar yen, if we break through the high, if you go and break through the high, then I'll be bullish, looking for the high low and a continuation. If dollar yen breaks through the low, then I'm in the yen basket, sorry. If the yen basket breaks through the low, then of course I'm looking at break of structure, pullbacks, and then the more downside. Because at that point, we're putting convincing lower highs in, and we're probably just going to keep bleeding back to the low. So yeah, we're going to have to keep a close eye on the yen basket because although I don't normally do that, but I think it's very, very handy right now. If we do break that to the upside. Is this inverted? Yeah, it is inverted. But yeah, I want to keep an eye on the yen pairs to see how they get on. But yeah, a lot less confident about that bounce from that zone to the upside. How everything's been looking as well. So if we don't see the convincing move this week, especially with Bank Japan on Thursday as well, which should be very interesting. Yeah, might just see the yen pairs keep pushing. And at that point, I may look to close out of CAD yen early if I do see price kind of break that low and we pick up some momentum on CAD yen. I'll probably just close that trade and be done with that position. It's been a great trade though, so I cannot complain. But it would, of course, be very nice if we do keep falling back to 103. That would be very nice indeed. But hey, yeah, beggars can't be choosers. You can take what the market gives you, otherwise you will get burned. Anyway, that's kind of my outlook on the yen pairs. Chat about the USD pairs, pound USD and dollar CAD are my main focus there. Looking for buys on pound USD on the double bottom. I do think we'll probably see a little bit more dollar strength though, so I'm kind of hoping that we do kind of see more dollar strength because I can get the double bottom in and a nice trade from that from this low here as well. And then hopefully for dollar CAD I can get a decent pullback in at some point. And oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. Decent pullback for dollar CAD at some point. I'm looking at 1.41 for the buy. In terms of any other markets I'm looking at, not really. I mean, New Zealand CHF is one, but it's nowhere near my zone right now. I feel like that might only develop when it comes into probably even after Christmas, because it's still going to take some time to get back into retest that high there. Because this is where I'm looking for the next lower high. 1, 2, and then 3 in this area. So maybe we do get there by the end of the week, but then even if we do get there by the end of the week, then you got Monday next week, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the market's going to be dead. Friday, probably going to be dead as well. So even if we do get here by the end of the week, probably won't take a trade until after the holidays, to be honest, and then maybe we do get a sell. But yeah, I'm looking at it. It's a nice market, but I just don't think I'll get a trade this week. CS integrated. Any insights with natural gas? Okay, let me have a quick look at that one. Haven't actually had a look at that in a while. Pretty sure I got it saved here. Yes, I do. Okay, so natural gas. Okay, it's a nice area for a short, actually. Very nice area for a short. 3.601. Really nice sell-off back there again. I would say that's a nice area where price can definitely sell off as well. I think in terms of the more immediate price action, we have been pretty bullish. Nice higher highs and high lows. Lovely little retest there. Price had a nice continuation off the back of that. Drop into the hourly chart as well. I mean, we have kind of equaled high up here, so we are starting to stall. So that would be a little bit of a worry. I would suggest the price was to get down there again. I think that could end up being a nice buy still. Difficult to always anticipate higher lows when the market forms equal highs. That's kind of one of my things I kind of stay away from. If the trend is still creating higher highs, then I can naturally expect a higher low to form. But the moment we start forming equal highs, then it's always a bit difficult to try and predict a high low after that. Sometimes it still happens. We equal high and then we higher low, then we push on. But I tend to look for the safer option, which is waiting for price to have the deeper push back to the low, then try and look to take buys off there. And if that low fails, then we've got to break a structure anyway. And then you're probably expecting a downtrend to form or a bigger pullback. But yeah, because we equaled the high, not great. And because we're coming back to some big areas here on the left where I do think longer term, natural gas can definitely sell off from. That's why I would be a little bit careful with the buys there. So I'll probably wait for price to push back into the low here at three pretty much on the dot. And then look for buys off that level there, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe we swing back to the high, maybe a bit more of just an intraday move. But yeah, natural gas, I will say some buys there around 3.004, and then maybe a longer term sell. Yeah, I would definitely wait for price to come further down. It's always a bit tricky when price is stuck at resistance, and you keep trying to find the higher low. Sometimes it works. That's the thing about trading. Even the things you shouldn't do sometimes do work out. Like trying to anticipate a breakout of a range and buying before it happens. Sometimes you do catch the breakout. Sometimes you take rubbish trades and they do play out. So that's the funny thing about trading. Even if you do the right things, sometimes they fail too. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking at the high or low. I'll be at least waiting for a bigger pullback. Hey, what's up, Mo? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good, my man. Hope you are well. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. A lot of news this week. I know you're focused on your technical analysis. But we've got Bank of Japan, we've got Bank of England, we've got Fed interest rates all this week. So it's going to be, hopefully we see some movement and kind of end the year with the bang, because I don't think we'll see anything more until after New Year's, really. Yeah, so hopefully we do kind of spice things up this week and see a bit of movement. Just got a new fridge and oven today. Nice. It's the little things, A decent fridge can go a long way. Good oven can definitely go a long way as well. But I know you like your food though. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with natural gas. Not a market I look at often, to be honest, but I do keep an eye on it sometimes. But yeah, I will keep an eye on New Zealand CHF because I do like the pair, but it just probably won't form until maybe even after the holidays. So I might have to be very patient with that. But yeah, CHF pairs have been pretty strong. I noticed CHF was very weak yesterday and slashed this morning as well. Which is probably why CHF JPY had such a strong close. Because if you compare CHF JPY's close and you compare them to the other yen pairs, we had some downside, yes, with the yen pairs this morning, but CHF JPY had a really big candle. Aussie, nice move there to a degree. But if you look at Aussie CHF, the past 24 hours, actually, not too much there, to be honest. It's kind of sideways, really. It was bullish from last week, but not so much this week. I think more so pound CHF and CAD CHF we're seeing a lot of upside. Maybe pound's the strong one, maybe not so much CHF, because that was a very strong move there yesterday for pound CHF. How's CAD CHF? Not much either. I mean, it has been strong, but it's kind of moving sideways the past few days. Euro CHF, I think, was strong as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Euro CHF some upside. I don't know. I think it might be a bit more Euro and pound actually rather than CHF. I think CHF has been weak, but that was more last week's price action. But yeah, with the other CHF pairs, pound CHF a little bit awkward now because it looks like price actually breaking the range to the upside. And as I spoke a lot yesterday, specifically yesterday, I said I'm looking for some sells for pound CHF, but I don't want to see price break to the upside. I'm looking for a strong break lower because essentially I'm looking for another lower high. So you got one over there, second there, looking at third with this kind of triple top, and I'm looking at price trending back to the low. So that's the idea with pound CHF. So if you start breaking to the upside, that really does change things up with that bias. I mean, you can probably still find a decent opportunity if you do break to the upside and you're looking for the retest, so on and so forth. But it just means you don't align with that higher time frame bias, which is a bit of a shame. But who knows? Maybe this is a big fake out. Just because the market's had a nice close above doesn't mean we're going to stay above. I've seen many times where we do come back below. So keep an eye on pound CHF. Maybe we do come back below aggressively, which could turn into a nice sell right at the top of the range. Stops above the high. You've already got the breakout there, so you don't have to worry too much about another fake out. And if that is going to be a fake out, then you can look to write it back to the low. And then potentially, if you want to leave some positions to run, the possibilities there as well. But yeah, I think it's a nice area for a short pound CHF if you do respect the high. But of course, you need price to break back below that level first. That's the critical point. If not, then price can very much continue to run and trend to the upside. So keep a very close eye on that. But I am still looking at downside for the CHF pairs overall. More 5 different trades, okay, for working and on going to give high five to my stop loss. That's a nice way of saying it. High five to my stop loss. Sell at 1.86. It works great, but before we came to prediction, was a turn to a buy. Yeah, I mean, not every trade is going to work out. That's the thing about trading. Not every trade has to be a phenomenal trade and has to pay dividends. Some trades will fail, and in those situations, you need to be looking at managing your risk and just protecting your downside. And if you can do that when you lose, and then of course maximize your winners, take advantage of your winners as much as you can, then that's the recipe for profitability, really. So, you can't win them all, but just make sure you manage them all, and then all should be well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I saw pound CAD is looking pretty bullish. I think Euro CAD's not as bullish, but maybe pound's a bit strong then today. This pound CHF score's flying to the upside right now, so yeah, maybe pound is a bit strong. CS integrated. Okay, maybe that's true as well. Second term for Trump as well. Might see, yeah, because I don't think we've really seen that priced in yet. Might see things starting to align with that. But yeah, I do think in the season, stocks as well should be up a lot more. I mean, they are kind of up, to be honest, but US 30 has been falling. So I do think that will turn around pretty soon. NAS has been flying, so in fairness, that has S&P has been flying to a degree as well. It's a bit of a pause at the moment, but I do think we'll keep pushing as time goes on. So I think the buys and indices still look very, very good. What's BTC doing? Okay, would you look at that? 107,225, looking very good, very strong. Do we hit 108? Not quite, but it's safe to say that 100K is definitely in the dust right now. Price is definitely broken through that. This was a very sturdy level of resistance on the daily chart, and price is definitely above that. Broke through this resistance here as well a couple of days ago on Sunday, actually, and we're not looking back since then. So with Bitcoin, we are still a little bit corrective, I must admit. So even though we are looking bearish right now, that's great. But if I do go ahead and clone this and bring that to the other side, we are still very much in this corrective phase here. And as we approach the high of that channel, if we don't start to pick up some momentum, we could see Bitcoin topple out and then work its way back down again, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because we could stay corrective for a while. I've seen times where we are corrective and then we shoot to the upside still. So that is, it still definitely can happen. But the longer we do stay corrective, though, the greater the chance we are going to break down. So that is a key thing to note. Doesn't mean we can't fly and still continue to the upside. That's still very much a possibility, and that's kind of what I still expect to happen. So I think the likeliness is still with the buyers with Bitcoin. But the longer we stay corrective, rejecting highs, rejecting lows, we are more likely going to do that. Of course, nothing is guaranteed, but the longer we stay like that, the longer, the greater we are, the greater the chance we are going to sell off. But yeah, nice price action from Bitcoin in the past 24 hours, 48 hours, looking pretty good. But let's see what we do at the top of this channel now. Do we respect it or do we start pushing through? If we get the latter, could be onto a nice little run. I mean, yeah, who knows how far we can go. I think the next big area is 110. Of course, you got 120 over there as well. I mean, I'll probably say the next big one might be 150 or even 200, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll see what we do at the top of that channel, though. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And of course, check out the Discord channel for Elevating Traders, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. But guys, I do really appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed to the channel. It does really help out. So yeah, I do really appreciate that. Anyway, we'll go through what's up, Eric? Okay, you received chef, bit of divergence, 0.928. Okay, we'll have a look. See. MD, what is up? Pound CAD analysis. Okay, we'll get to it. Eric, Aussie CAD as well. Potential sells for New York guys. Okay. Aussie CAD's been very corrective. Are you talking about, I suppose you're talking about intraday time frames. But yeah, we'll take a look at those pairs. So Euro CHF. Okay, so Euro CHF, very, very bullish the past few days. Still coming to some areas where we could be forming some lower highs, come back down again. You can see how price has been moving. Strong push up, lower high drop, strong push up, lower high drop, strong push up, lower high drop. Is that going to repeat itself? This is kind of the area I would expect that to happen. I do think we've broken through the trend line though. If I connect the highs here, so maybe that's a bit of a red flag, but if I redraw the trend line connecting these highs, is there a different outcome? Or is it still broken through? Yeah, it's still very much broken through. So a bit of a red flag there. Now, trend lines are not the be all or end all of trends. Trend lines are a bit more subjective than levels of support resistance, and even those can be a bit more subjective as well. But yeah, we have kind of broken for that trend line. So although, yes, we could still form a lower high because technically we haven't broken through structure yet, which is still the most important thing. It does diminish the quality and the chances of a lower high forming. It's always better if we can respect the trend line than not respect it, of course. But it was still an area where a lower high could develop. I want to see some double tops, really strong rejection forming, some aggressive wicks if I'm going to look to anticipate some downside there. If price stays in this kind of corrective manner, we could just go and take up the high. But yeah, your CHF's in the area where I do think a sell looks good. You discussed some divergence around 0.928, 0.928. Whereabouts is that? Okay, so you're looking for a push back down here. So you're looking to buy from here, or you're looking to sell towards that area? Um, but yeah, anyway, I would still be looking at low high forming, but I need a lot more development in this area here for Euro CHF for the short. So I do think shorts look still good, but I mean, yeah, they're not quite ready yet. If they stay not ready, then we can keep pushing to the upside. But in terms of the location, it's good. In terms of the price action, not so good just yet. But yeah, if we do see some nice evidence there, could be some nice shorts back down to that low and even further as well. And if you are looking at buys, I think it's a nice area. Yes, price did consolidate very well there, back and forth, strong break to the upside there as well. So that's nice. But I think it's kind of difficult in terms of buying your CHF because the market has been so bearish. So I do think overall Euro CHF is definitely due a big of a pullback. If you look at the phase of the market, big drop, pullback, big drop, pullback, big drop. Most likely a pullback is on its way. So I do agree the market is definitely due a move to the upside. But the difficulty in timing that move, especially when you're going against the flow, is always very difficult, especially a market like Euro CHF, which every major time frame, monthly, weekly, daily, is all pointing down as well. So definitely a nice area to go long. Risk to reward looks good because you could be onto a really big move, but it's definitely a bit more of an aggressive position due to what the high time frames are doing. But I think it does still make sense back to a nice area. And of course, we get there, see some nice rejection. It could be a nice buy. But yeah, definitely is still a bit more of an aggressive position in my view. But yeah, I do think we are due a bigger move to the upside anyway. I'll go over to pound CAD, then we'll take a look at Aussie CAD as well. I missed that. I wrote 1.86 and it was 1.806. Okay, the sell on pound CAD. Okay, I'll take a look at pound CAD now. Oh, no, you're already in from that point. My bad, Eric. My bad. I misread you there. Okay, you're looking good then. You're looking very good. What's the plan for that trade? I thought you're looking to buy from then. If you're already in from there, in a in some decent profit. How far are you looking to hold that trade, Eric? My bad. Misread you there. Let me go over to pound CAD. Yeah, it's looking very, very good. My apologies. I was just not reading you correctly at all there. Anyway, with pound CAD, so yeah, price is coming back into the high here. So I suppose you're already short more, and now price is now back at 1.812. So I suppose you already got short around here somewhere. Okay, so yeah, instead of 1.86, 1.806, yeah, it would be around here somewhere. And yeah, prices snap back to the upside. So yeah, I guess just one of those trades where things started well, but then momentum just didn't quite get going in your direction. Yeah, which is always very difficult to completely eradicate those type of trades from your trading, unless you want to kind of go break even very quickly or take your profits very quickly, which you can do, but it just does kind of limit your upside and your reward on trades. But yeah, it's a really nice reaction. But yeah, momentum has definitely shifted. I think just because higher time frame momentum is still to the upside, the trend is still to the upside. So I suppose maybe price is trying to continue that. I did, in fairness, expect a bit more downside from pound CAD before we do push to the upside. I was talking a lot about this area here last week. Nice area of support there. We did have a bit of consolidation before big move to the upside. So I think this is a nice area where price could get to, maybe snap bullish, of course. So, even if I was short on pound CAD, I'll probably be holding out to this area here at least before booking profits. You were looking for a push into 1.788. which would be around here. So yeah, very similar target as I suggested there as well. So yeah, it's just one of them unlucky ones. Price didn't get to your first target, spins off against you. Um, you could have closed out early, but then there will be trades where you do close out early, then it still continues in your favor and you miss out on a big winner. So it's kind of like a balancing act. Do you take the profits now and lose out on the bigger profits, or do you hold out for the bigger profits, take a few more losses and a few more situations where this occurs, but then you capitalize on the big winners and you focus on that. So it depends how you want to see it. But yeah, pound CAD is looking a little bit bullish right now. So my analysis from here would be that I do think this level probably does break. And there could be some really nice buys above that, really. Because if the trend's going to continue, then so be it. But if that's the case, a strong break of the high, because we have rejected it very well on 3/4 occasions. One, oh, that is a horrendous. I just completely missed it there. 1, 2, 3, and of course you got fourth there as well. Almost missed that too. What's going on? Can't draw today. If you get a strong break of the high, that's a very strong signal that says, okay, the buyers have stepped back into the market very well. Sellers are failing to hold that level. Probably going to see price continue. Of course, I would wait for a solid retest and a pullback before confirming that, because it could very much be a fake out. Could push straight back in, and then in that situation, sales actually look good again. But if we can actually hold that support level, that could be a nice place for a buy. It's a very strong level indeed. Prices respected it very well. So that's where my focus would be. I think we still got a major high here on the left, which price could be working its way towards. So that's around 1.83593. If you take that across, yeah, we're not quite at that area yet. So maybe we do see a push back to that level. Yeah, there's still a bit of room to the upside for price to fill, especially with a nice healthy tag of the 200. That might give it its next kind of second wind almost to kind of continue the trend a little bit. So yeah, with pound CAD, I would say bullish is probably a nice outlook to have. That's the way the trend is so far, especially if this level breaks. Probably going to see price still push up. If it does respect the highs, of course, we might still see another sell-off. That could still be a situation here. But I wouldn't be surprised if you do break the high, get the retest, and a push to 1.835. Holding forever. Okay, till next year. Okay, so the remainder of December. Yeah, I mean, it looks really good. There's definitely upside for your CHF. I do think they're due some big pullbacks. I've already seen a big move in itself, so I don't know how you're looking to manage that trade, whether you're trading stops or you're locking gains along the way. But I would look to try and lock in something, because it's been a nice move from where you've bought. And yeah, because the higher time frames are still very bearish, and that's still the big direction at play. It's always better to lock in gains when you are going against the tide a little bit. Not to say you can't go higher. I think we're due a move higher, but locking in gains along the way, does help out. But yeah, great trade so far. Holy One. Okay, so you're looking to buy now. Okay, hold that trade. Yeah, I mean, if price does break through the highs, I'll be very bullish to pound CAD as well. Of course, we haven't done that yet. We could still respect it and come back down. So I wouldn't say I'm totally bullish yet, but if it does see a strong break of the high, then yeah, 100%. I do think further upside is pretty likely. In terms of Aussie CAD as well, Eric did suggest that one, and then I'll start to go through some of the crosses. I'll probably go through the rest of the CAD pairs. Now I'll start taking a look at some of the crosses. Haven't really spoke about them much yet. The pound Aussies, Euro Aussies, Euro NZDs. We'll go through some of those markets. Okay, take care, Will. Good to see you today, my man. Don't forget to like and sub, peeps. Appreciate it. It is free. It is free, as Will suggested. But yeah, take care, my man. We'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good one. But yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do really appreciate it. And if you're finding it useful, it does really help out the channel. So Thank you to everyone who has done that so far. But yeah, let's get on to Aussie CAD. So you said you're looking for a sell, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, potential sells for the New York session. So by that, I'm guessing you're intraday. I'm not the biggest fan of Aussie CAD, I have to admit. I can definitely see the market is very consistent bearish. We place a lot of lower lows and lower highs in. The market's been very consistent with that. So yes, overall, the market is in a bit of a decline there. But I would suggest, I would suggest waiting for this consolidation to break first before looking at shorting opportunities. Just because, I mean, depends on what you're looking for. No, still, I would wait for that to break. I think if we were to push back to the high of the range, that could be a nice place to short. We've seen a lot of evidence of price respect in that area quite a lot. So naturally, if you do push back to the high of the range, not a bad place to short at all. Decent place for a stop loss as well. If you look to short at current price, it's always just a bit tricky in terms of where you put your stop loss. Is your stop loss above the high here, but then it's a bit more risky because price can still very much do that against you. If your stop loss can be above here, then of course you can still get triggered. Your stop loss is never completely safe. But at least if your stop loss is triggered there, it's like, okay, we've got a break of this to the upside. Maybe we're going to keep pushing there. So, it's not a situation where you keep have to look into short. So I think the shorts around here look good. Or the break of the low and some shorts on the retest can look good as well. And yeah, Aussie CAD can definitely make it back to the low here. Overall, with Aussie CAD, if I expand to, actually, no, let me go to the 4-hour chart. The market has been very consistent with these lower highs, I must admit. So we had one over there, second there, third over there, fourth, fifth, number 6 over there, and potentially you could be putting 7 with this kind of double top / range here as well. So as long as we keep maintaining this, we probably are going to keep falling. I do think there is a big move to be had with Aussie CAD to the downside. If I draw up this ascending channel here, we have broken through that trend line as well. So that's another sign that says, okay, we've broken through clear support. Maybe price is going to have a big move to the downside. And maybe we do see a really big sell-off. And I am looking at shorts for Aussie CAD, but I want price to really break through the lows first. Then I'll start to consider some shorts with this one, maybe a retest of the low there. And I look to get involved with some pullbacks just because we are still quite corrective. So that's what I don't like about Aussie CAD right now. But yeah, from an intraday standpoint, specifically New York, I would wait for either push back to the higher of the range or break the consolidation, and then I'll discuss those opportunities. In terms of New Zealand CAD, it's partner in crime. Then we'll take a look at Euro CAD as well. Then we'll go through some of the other crosses. New Zealand CAD, similar situation in terms of, okay, is price going to break out this trend line here as well? It looks like we're trying to, but again, really struggling to do that as well. I said if price does eventually break through the low here, then we probably are going to see that break to the downside and find some nice shorts. If we are going to respect this area and be bullish, then I'm kind of waiting for price to break the high here first. We'll break through this trend line as well. And the opportunities above that look really good. Retest, higher lows, take the buys there. And we're probably going to see a nice big push to the upside there too. So yeah, with New Zealand CAD, I think the buys look really good. I think the buys do look really good there. If we do break the high, of course. If otherwise we do keep falling and take out the lows there, then yeah, the shorts will look good too. But right now it's kind of a limbo. It's not too sure. Is price holding? Is price breaking through? If I had to pick one, I would guess we're probably going to break through, but it's not clear. And of course, I don't want to be jumping into a trade where I'm just kind of guessing. It needs to be clear. It needs to be high quality if I'm going to take a position. So yeah, with New Zealand CAD, I'm just going to see how that does develop. Same thing with Aussie CAD as well. And then Euro CAD, similar market to Pound CAD. This one's been a tad bullish too, definitely not as much as Pound. But yeah, with this one, it's interesting as well. We've seen a nice move. I did talk about some buys last week on the retest of the high here. Really nice retest, few weeks into that level. Nice rebound. We've seen a nice push back to the high. If I expand to the daily chart, I mean, we might be pushing back to the high of the range there. I mean, it's not great price action, to be honest. I'm kind of looking at this as a range, but the market has been steadily putting some higher lows in. This was a really big spike, but it's just come back to respect some prior lows on the left. Really hasn't changed much. So I wouldn't be too surprised with EuroCAD if you do push back to the high. You see with the 200, the market's been respecting it 90% of the time. Minus this kind of big move there, but we'll back above it pretty well right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do keep pushing to the upside there. So looking at EuroCAD as well, that looks pretty bullish to me as well. In terms of an opportunity to get involved, I would wait for price either to retest that zone again at 1.485 or wait for price to break through the high there and find some pullbacks on the retest of that zone for pushback to 1.50955. But I would suggest more upside for EuroCAD looks likely. And of course, if Pound CAD's going to do the same as well, you got some nice correlation between the two. I think Pound is just a little bit stronger than Euro at the moment. Let's have a quick look at Euro Pound. Yeah, Euro Pound is down on the day, so Pound is a little bit stronger. Although I do think this is a nice place for a buy for Euro Pound. And if we are going to hold, this is the area I would expect us to turn around from. So maybe Euro does become a little bit stronger. No evidence of that just yet, but we're definitely at a nice level where you can definitely see that happening. Big fake to the downside, really strong support, numerous occasions. If it's going to hold, now's the time to see some upside. So that might change. But yeah, Pound has definitely been a lot stronger, at least in the past 24 hours anyway. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the CAD pairs. It looks like Pound CAD and Euro CAD do have more upside. Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, not a big fan of those. Pretty much a lot of consolidation. So I would wait for some breakouts, momentum to come back into the market before I do start to look to trade those. In terms of the crosses, as I mentioned, so with Pound Aussie looking pretty bullish here. Looks like the trend is still very much in full flow. Again, I'm looking for bigger pullbacks with these guys before I do take any buys. We're just taking out some major highs like we did over here. Big pullback afterwards. We've done it again, taking out another major high here as well. Just put that to the high there, as we can see. So again, looking for another pullback. And the area of confluence I'm keeping a close eye on, if I whip out the fib from the low to the high, is definitely this zone here on the left, 1.95. If I can get a bigger pullback into that area, I think that would be a really nice place for a buy. You can see how consistent we've been with these high lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This does look like a very nice area where price could put another high low in, very much in sync with the current bullish trend here, not really out the way, and continue to the upside from there. And of course, you probably got the 200 daily moving average probably coming back into that area there too. So it's a nice area of confluence at 1.96. And that's really where I do want to see some buys from, because we've taken out a major high now. I wouldn't be looking to try and get in any shorter term pullbacks. Not that they won't play out, it's just because we've taken out a major high. Naturally, I'm going to be expecting bigger pullbacks afterwards. Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. But I'm not going to look for the shorter term moves here. But yeah, it is looking pretty bullish. Maybe respect the high and then come back down again, but I'm not interested in the buys just there yet. Would have to wait for the bigger pullback to that 1.95 area. And Pound NZD is in the same situation as well. If I go to the daily chart, you can see overall taking out some major highs. So again, looking at a bigger pullback with this one. Back to this area, looks great. Lovely consolidation in that zone. Retesting 0.5 and 0.618. I think that would be a really nice area for price to get back to. Retest. Oh, did not mean to do that. Retest and see the next higher low. So yeah, with Pound NZD and Pound Aussie as well, overall, I do think we can see a lot more upside for those markets, but I need some bigger pullbacks. Yeah, true. I think we probably will be waiting for the US session, to be honest. London hasn't seen too much, to be honest, but we do have some news in the New York session. We got CAD CPI at 1:30, and we've got USD retail sales as well. So from a news standpoint as well, we've got some events to watch out for, which we can definitely see a bit of movement. And then we've got a lot of news to watch out for tomorrow, with inflation for pound in the morning, 7 a.m., CPI at 10 a.m. So that'll be just before I start my stream, so keep an eye on that. And then we got building permits, 1:30 for USD, not the biggest event in the world, but I'll probably keep an eye on that. But most importantly, Fed interest rate at 7, rates expected to drop by 2.5% tomorrow. And of course, you got the press conference half an hour later as well. And then, of course, the day after Thursday, you got Bank of Japan and you've got Bank of England. But rates are expected to stay the same for both of them. Bank of Japan's supposed to stay at 0.25, and then Bank of England stay at 4.75. Whether that is the case or not, we'll find out on the day. Holy One, beating pound NZ since 20015. Where is that? Okay, so you got in this morning, I'm guessing. Yeah, so that's just around this area here. Yeah, looking pretty bullish. I would imagine you're looking to ride it back to your high, as you so often do. So back to 2.0872 roughly. Yeah, there's a pretty good chance we get there as well. But yeah, looking at pound NZD, pound Aussie, yes, the high, yeah, as I suspected. But yeah, it looks likely we'll probably get there. It looks very likely back to 2.21. I expect us to get there. Pound Aussie looks equally as bullish as well. I take a look at their cousins, Euro Aussie and Euro NZD. Are these looking bullish too? Yeah, pretty much. Maybe not as much because pound's a little bit stronger. I mean, Euro NZD's in some resistance, so it's a bit difficult to expect much here. I mean, we could break through, but I wouldn't want to find that out with a buy and wait for price to break first. Then we can talk about some buys shortly afterwards. This is still very much an area of resistance, so I would watch out for this one. Okay, you're NZD as well. Wow, no market escaping you too. So yeah, with your NZD, I would be a little bit more skeptical because resistance is kind of amongst us right now. I can definitely see that we are still very consistent with the higher lows, and that is definitely on your side there. But with pound NZD, it's kind of like we've had such a powerful move to the upside. There's a lot more momentum in your favor, and we don't really hit any major resistance until the area up there as well. So yeah, pound NZD has a little bit of a cleaner path, but then again, pound NZD, if it's going to push back to the high, there's a good chance Euro NZD is going to push back to the high as well, just because of their correlation. They probably both do the same thing. Let me have a look at Euro Aussie. This one as well, looking a tad bullish too, but this one too, I'm pretty, did not mean to do that. What is Quadian? I keep accidentally clicking this. We'll go to Euro Aussie. Go to the daily chart. Yeah, this one as well, coming back into some daily resistance too. Maybe we do break through these areas and see big moves. That could be the possibility with both of them. But of course, I will wait for that breakout to happen first, and then I'll talk about some moves after that. But yeah, crosses definitely looking bullish in terms of momentum right now. Yeah, whether that sustains or not, that's a different question. Some of them are approaching some big levels like Euro Aussie, where we could definitely turn around. But if we do break through, then I would expect us to probably push back to the high there, 1.7. because at that point, we're breaking through this structure here, taking out those lower highs. And maybe we are just going to continue the trend back to the high there. So, probably not that. So yeah, probably something like that could be the situation there with UND and Euro Aussie. But of course, let's break the high first, and then we can chat about that. Okay. Maybe another intervening bank channel yen pairs, juicy or nothing. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually hoping that happens low key because that will actually probably kickstart some real downside. Oh, just hit the mic. That will probably kickstart some real downside for the yen pairs, really. So I'm actually kind of banking on that happening. But yeah, we got the Bank of Japan interest rates on Thursday, which is not. It's just something we can all see coming. It just depends um, how everything kind of just sets up, really. If anything, any surprises come their way in terms of the interest rate decision, whether they increase it or not, is yet to be seen. What's up, Antonio? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, you're in Euro Aussie as well. Well, okay, holy one, you're just attacking all those markets at the moment. Euro Aussie, Pound NZD, Euro NZD as well. I mean, again, they're all very correlated markets, so they're probably all going to push to the high. Maybe pound or euro might continue better than the other and take a little bit longer than the other, but they'll probably all do the same thing if you give them enough time, really. And we don't really have any euro pound news until tomorrow as well. So if they can get going today, that would be definitely nice. Hey, what's up, Ninad? Welcome to the stream. No problem, man. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. I'll have a look, see after the stream. All different accounts. Okay, makes sense to be fair. At least from risk standpoint, it's not all kind of all in on that kind of opportunity. But yeah, I mean, I like in terms of momentum, we are still seeing upside, but we are approaching some levels where it might get a little bit nerve-wracking for UND and Euro Aussie. In terms of pound NZD, I think that was my favorite. Looking very, very clean. I like the momentum from this morning. Trend looks like it's in full flow right now as well. So yeah, it looks really good, and I think the chance of us getting back to the highs and seeing new highs is pretty high there for pound NZD. But then again, if it's high for pound NZD, you're probably going to see UND and Euro Aussie follow suit as well. So even though they aren't looking as good, in my opinion, it might not even really matter. Okay, gold almost deep profit. Okay, nice. Yeah, I was supposed to look at gold a while ago. I completely forgot about gold. Someone requested that. I said I'll get to it, but I completely forgot. If I do forget a pair, just drop it down in the chat again. Sometimes I do forget these things, but yeah, gold has been pretty bearish. Nice move to the downside this morning. I was looking at both silver and gold before the stream, and we had some really strong bearish closes on the 4-hour chart for both of them. I think silver's got a lot of mileage to the downside, and I think probably gold too. They tend to do the same thing, of course. So we're probably going to see gold continue lower. Where do you take profit? Holy one again. Where do you take profit for gold? I did say my weekly analysis on the weekend. If you haven't checked it out, feel free to go and do so. I did say there might be a nice little bounce off this low here for a nice buy. So from 26.20, I think that could end up being a nice little buy opportunity. Again, I was looking for that higher low for gold to really continue price and continue back to the highs there. But after we respected the high last week, it's really put a spanner in the works. I wanted the price to create some new highs, then look for the next higher low, then the next higher high. But as I said earlier in the stream, it's always very difficult to look for a higher low after a double top or look for a lower high after double bottom. You want price to be trending, creating new highs, and then you're expecting a new higher low to form. You don't want price to be forming equal highs and then trying to expect a high low after that. It could happen, of course. I'm not saying it won't, but it's just going to be a lot more difficult to expect that to happen. Chances, probabilities are less. So that's why I kind of stayed away from gold. And yeah, we've been pretty bullish since then. Probably going to get pushed back into 26.20 now. Yuan, okay, UNSD, I'll quickly go over that. Holy one, okay, 26.30, okay. Okay, yeah, we're very close to it. Around here somewhere. So yeah, looking pretty good. 26.50, yeah, nice entry as well. So yeah, I mean, I expect, because that 4-hour candle was closed very bearish. So I think there's a very high chance we just continue to spill over. I think it would be very, very unlikely for us to suddenly turn around. Of course, don't want to jinx that. Don't jinx that happening, but yeah, that was a really strong close. I do think we'll probably just keep bleeding. Same thing with silver as well. Both of them had some really strong candle closures on the 4-hour chart. So I do think both of them will keep falling. Gold's a bit stronger, but yeah, I think we'll keep pushing down. Okay, so I'll go through Euro entity for Yuan. I1, am I saying that correctly? I1 Yuan. Let me know. Apologies if I'm not. An ad buy position on New Zealand CHF. Okay, 0.51621. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, CHF does seem a bit weak. I was discussing that earlier. Not as weak as I thought, but it was seeing some weakness. Okay, no more trade till those close. Yeah, I mean, if you're spreading them on different accounts as well, so the risk is not really high. The only time the risk is high is if you take a bunch of similar trades on one account, and it's kind of like, okay, they're all going to play out or they're all going to fail. And of course, if they all play out, happy days. You're going to be laughing. If they all don't play out, then yeah, not happy days. But of course, if it's different accounts, then the exposure to a single account is not really vulnerable. Anyway, let's go to Euro entity, and then I'll take a look at New Zealand Seed Chef for Ninette. Okay, so yeah, with Euro entity, as I spoke briefly before, still a nice pace for a sell. As we approach the high here, we could definitely turn around. I think if we do break through this, then I'm expecting us to push back to the high, because overall for USD, it's a big ranging market. Those are highs and those are lows in the daily chart, and we've been back and forth between these areas. If price does break through the high here, 1.8 to 500, there's a very high chance that we're going to push back to the high here, because that's the next level. Once we break through a level, where's price going to go? To the next one, and so on and so forth. And that would be the next level, 1.84. So in terms of the buys, I would wait for at least that high to break, and then we can discuss some long opportunities on the back of that. If price starts rejecting this area, see some wicks, could be a nice selling point to take price back down again. I wouldn't look to hold it too far because, like I said, we're not at the top of the range, so it's just not the best place to be trying to hold trades for the long run. So yeah, I think it's a nice place for a short. If you're looking for longs, wait for the break of the high first, and then you can probably look to ride that back to 1.84. Looks like pound NZD is very bullish as well. So maybe if UNZD is going to follow what pound NZD is doing, it probably would break through the high there, and some retests beyond that will look good to ride it back into 1.84. So it depends on your bias, depends on the type of trade you're looking to do. If you're looking to follow trend, follow momentum, then you're going to be looking at buys. But I would wait for the high to break first and then try and follow that on the next leg. If you're looking for that kind of mean reversion opportunity, it's a nice place to sell because, of course, we've seen a big move in the past, but need a bit more evidence there before the short does become a good one. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll keep an eye out for URNZD. In terms of New Zealand Seed Chef, and as you said, you've got a long position from 0.5612, 621, sorry, 0.51622. 2, 1. Okay, so you're in a long from here. Okay, I know you like to trade in the low time frames. So let me just drop to the low time frames. Um, I mean, looks good. I would wait for price to have a slightly bigger pullback. I like my deeper corrections because I'm guessing you're looking to try and ride this momentum here. Nice push, bit of a consolidation, another push as well. So you're looking for another high low, for another push to the upside. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Price just took out the highs here as well. So it's a sign that we are breaking structure to the upside. So I do think buys look good from a lower time frame perspective. I wouldn't look to hold a trade for too long because longer term, I actually am pretty bearish on New Zealand CHF. Higher time frames are still very bearish as well, so I do think we can still roll over. But if you're looking from a more intraday standpoint, then I think buys do look good. But yeah, I would wait for a slightly bigger pullback just because we've had a nice first drop. So it would be nice if price was to consolidate and we drop one more time. Now try and find the buy off that. Maybe come back to retest some of this structure here a little bit deeper. So I think your entries is nice. It looks good. I suppose your stop loss is probably just underneath that low there. And like I say, with positive risk rewarding, if you do get stopped out in the first attempt, don't be afraid for the second re-entry because again, if you have a positive risk reward, let's say a 1 to 2, you lose the first one, win the second one, you still walk away, with making back your loss and then some. So if price does come back down for a retest, I think that the idea is still valid, the trade's still valid, and you can still definitely see the buys. It might just be another pullback before we push on. A bit of like a bear flag, if you will, a bull flag, if you will. So yeah, I like the idea. I think structure looks good. You're in line with that, and we've just seen a lot of momentum in that bullish leg too. So I think the buys look good from that. But I would keep an eye out for another push down. If it does happen, of course, we could very much fly from here and still push on. So no need to panic and pull the trade. We could still very much fly from where we are. But if we don't be disheartened. There's probably still another opportunity to take. Of course, if it does arise, maybe it does collapse out the sky. But if you do see some more rejection lower, it could be a nice little buy there. But yeah, I like it from an intraday standpoint. It makes a bunch of sense. And of course, in terms of targets, taking it back to the high, I think is a no-brainer. And you can always leave some positions to run if you're a bit more, if you want to really milk the trade. Holy One. Must be a strong seller's market before you buy. Yeah, I agree. Because like it comes back to the situation which you described probably like a couple of months ago now, Holy One, where you talked about at the end of the day, if you take away the chart, you're kind of just buying at areas of value and selling at areas of value. Is price kind of cheap enough for you to buy the market? Is price expensive enough for you to sell the market? It does come back down to that kind of logic at the end of the day. And I think if you keep that in mind with all of your trades, actually does help you quite a lot because even if you are looking to ride momentum and kind of trade aggressively, you still want to kind of not be the first person into the market, which I kind of is a bit of a weird phrase because you definitely won't be. But it's always nice to buy a little bit later or sell a little bit later than someone else, because that kind of gives you an edge in itself. But yeah, I would always look for the deeper pullbacks. But the thing is, with the deeper pullbacks, they don't always happen. So sometimes you do get a shallow pullback and the market just rips, and you're kind of like, okay, I missed that trade because I didn't take it because I was waiting for a deeper pullback. So that's the con with a deeper pullback. You do sometimes miss the shallow ones which just rip to the upside. But then again, trading's all about balance. You're not going to take advantage of every position. You choose what you're after, and then you focus on that. No problem. Happy to help. Happy to help. Kingsley, what is up? Hope all is well. All is doing good. Hope the same is with you. Any update Update on USDZR. Okay, I'll take a look at USDZR for you. No problem. First attempt. Okay, yeah, nice. Like I said, if it does come back down again, don't be put off for a long. Of course, as long as it still looks good, that is. More. Don't see holy messages as you plot me. He might be on a different chat, a different stream. Because I'm streaming from my channel and Elevating Traders as well. So there's two YouTube channels I'm streaming from. He might be on a different stream. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not making up. He's definitely speaking to me. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just like the London market, you want to buy the best price possible, otherwise no sell. Yeah, I think it does come back down to that a lot of the time as well. Yeah, it does actually make sense to buy at this price. Um, yeah, if it's cheap, okay, there's value there. You do expect price to push up. Euro pound, okay, I'll quickly go for USDZR, Euro pound as well. No problem. Happy to help, Nanad. You can't see your messages either, only mine on screen. Yeah, you might be on the Elevating Traders stream. You might not be on. Look at the channel. Does it say Elevating Traders or Miko Audio? Because I'm streaming on two different YouTube channels. Let me go through use these are and which one was it? Where's the message? Use these are and Euro pound. So use these are. Oh, would you look at that? Lovely move. So yeah, I did talk about some buys. I did say if you're not already in the trade, then you kind of want price to come back down and retest it, but that didn't happen. Price is looking very bullish here. So again, the idea with use these are buys is because we just about pinched the low here. So although we've been very consistent with the low highs and still very much could be, now that we've taken out a major low, we might see a bit of upside now. So that's why I was looking for some upside there for USDZR. And of course, we started putting some higher lows in as well, came back to a nice area structure too. So there was more to it than just that, but there was a lot of things that played into it. So now we're seeing some upside. But yeah, I would say the buyers have kind of left the station now. The train has left the station. If you're not already in the trade, that trade's a goner. On the other hand, there could be some nice sales still. You know, if the market is going to keep up with all of these lower highs, then there is still that possibility of us coming back into resistance here and seeing a nice sell, you know, at the high here. We still could do something like that as well. But the buys are gone. The buys are gone. I'm short term bullish, at least back to the high. Yes, 100%. But yeah, this is now the sell opportunity which we could look at to take it back down again. But the buys have already gone. In terms of euro pound, euro pound buys look good, but I would wait for some rejection here. We closed very strongly bearish on that last 4 hour candle, but we're still just about holding onto this zone. So if we are going to hold onto this area and turn around, I want to see some wicks, bullish engulfing candles close, and then we can start take some buys. If not, of course, price can definitely break through. Support resistance doesn't always hold. We potentially could see price break through, but if we see some strong rejection, especially another strong close to the upside on the hourly or the 4 hour chart, nice bullish engulfing, that could be a nice indication that, okay, we are seeing some strength here. That could be a nice trade. Nice little place for a stop loss as well. Ooh, nice place for a stop loss as well. And then you look to write it back to the high. So yeah, I think Euro pound's still a nice buy. Obviously not ready yet, and we could break the low. But part of trading is being reactionary. We're at a nice price. Now let's look for evidence that price is about to turn. If we get that, great. Could be a nice buy. If not, yeah, we might sell off. So keep an eye on it. Okay, I'll wrap things up with Euro Yen for Antonio. Yeah, you're on Elevating Traders channel. Yeah, that is why. All right, no problem. All have a good one, my man. I appreciate it, my man. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you coming on. So yeah, we'll go through what is it called again? Euro yen. My mind went blank for a moment, but we're back. So yeah, for Euro yen, I did speak about some short-term buys for this one. I am still looking for that longer-term sell, but on the lower time frames, we are still seeing consecutive higher highs and higher lows, and there's a nice little trend here to follow. So I did say another push back into this area. There's a lot of confluence there. You've got some really nice resistance there a couple of times, a really strong break to the upside, no retest. You've got the 200 moving average flowing through the market there as well. And of course, you've got that trend line connecting all these high lows. So there's a lot of confluence in this area at 160.5. And I do think if we can see some more rejection, good chance for another higher low to form and a push to the high. Because we are still very corrective on the way up, I do think the bigger move for Euro yen is still to the downside. So if you do get into some buys, I think if you target the high, that's a great trade in itself. Maybe we go a little bit further as well, but I would suggest look and take profits at the high. But that's a decent area for a long opportunity, of course, if you do see some rejection in that area. But yeah, I think intraday level buys do actually look pretty good at 160.5. Yes, we do have CAD news today. We've got CAD, CPI, and USD news as well in the afternoon. So watch out for both of those events. But guys, we have come to the end of the stream. I do appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, chatting with me, dropping a like on the stream, subscribing to the channel. It all does really help, and I do really appreciate that from you guys. If you haven't done already, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below, and also at the top of the chat. You can chat with us, other traders, including myself. I share ideas there. So if you're looking to get involved with that and you are interested, check it out. You can find out a lot more about Elevating Traders, the firm, and of course, you can get your discount code there, ET50. So go check that out if you haven't done so already. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Big day tomorrow with a lot of news, and Thursday as well. So don't miss out on that. We'll be here covering it on the stream. So yeah, guys, have a good one. Same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. tomorrow. We'll look forward to see you guys there. But yeah, guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.